going on, everybody? Luke here from Autocorrect Detailing. Today I'm going to take you through the process of our workflow on this Tesla Model Y that we're going to be doing. It's receiving a lot of our packages here at Autocorrect. It's getting a full tint job, it's getting a full body paint protection film package, and it's also getting our full decontamination wash, which comes with pretty much everything we do, but that's just to get it ready for the paint protection and the tint that we're going to be doing on it. So we're going to be taking you through that process now, and we're going to go ahead and get started on it. If there's a lot to do, I'll tell you that.
So we're going to begin the entire process with our decontamination wash. That starts with our S1 soap. It's a non-pH neutral soap that we use to help break down any grime or buildup on the paint. Here we're going to start by filling our 2 buckets, using the 2-bucket wash method, always along with an extra bucket for the wheels. We're going to go ahead and throw some of that S1 soap in there, get it nice and sudsy, fill these buckets up, and then we're going to move on to start washing the wheels here. Fill up our wheel bucket, same process. Also, definitely can't forget to fill up your product bottles before you start, which looks like I did here. So we're going to throw some tire and wheel cleaner into this bottle here, and we're going to get going. Fill that up nice to the top, and boom. Going to begin by rinsing off the wheel with the pressure washer. Very simple. Go ahead, spray it down with the wheel and tire cleaner. Make sure you get every spokes, the tire, the inside of the wheel well. Then we're going to go ahead and with our tire brush and scrub down that tire nice and good. Go ahead with our boar's head brush, lug nut brush, a lot of people call it. Depends, but you can call it whatever you want. Just make sure you get in there. Make sure you get the caliper, that nice red Tesla caliper. Make sure it's nice and clean there. Go ahead with the wheel well brush, get behind all those spokes. Make sure you go in a crisscross pattern so you can get a nice little nice angle on all the spokes and behind the barrel there. Then you give it a nice rinse as you see here, and that's going to be the wheel cleaned for you. Pretty easy process, but got to make sure they're clean. Now here we're going to go ahead, load up the front and the mirrors with some of our Americana bug remover. Just really spray it on there, let it break down any grime or bugs that may be on the front bumper here. Like I said in the beginning, we're going to be doing a full body PPF on this vehicle, so we want to make sure everything is completely clean. After we let that permeate for a little bit, we're going to go ahead and rinse off the vehicle as you see here. Just a nice rinse before we get the foam to knock off any loose dirt, dust, and decontaminations that may be on there. Now we're going to go into the foaming phase of the wash. Get the car nice and foamy with our foam cannon. Again, this has our S1 soap in it, so it's a non-pH neutral soap. Really getting in there and breaking down anything that's on the paint. Luckily, this car was purchased and brought to us straight from the dealer, so there was not a lot of decontamination on this at all. As you see there, I used the little boar's head brush around any edges, the Tesla emblems. You really want to make sure any cracks and crevices, you get all the dust out. So when you're installing the paint protection film, that doesn't come back and bite you. One of the biggest things when you're installing paint protection film is having a clean surface to work on, so when you are installing, things go smooth. Here you're going to see me again with the brush. Just go around the entire front bumper, all the little edges, anywhere some dirt or debris could be stuck in. You're going to follow it up with the wash mitt. Make sure it's nice and clean. So after I go around all the edges and make sure all the debris is clear from the little cracks and crevices, I go back and I wash the entire vehicle with the wash mitt. You almost always want to clay the vehicle before any paint correction or paint protection film installation. But as I just previously stated, this car was purchased from the dealer, driven directly to us at Autocorrect Detailing here. So there was next to no decontamination in the paint, and sometimes clay can can do more harm than good in a sense like this, where it's a brand new vehicle. You could start introducing scratches and swirls way earlier than you'd like to if you start claying the paint. So we decided to not clay the paint because it was in such good condition and just move straight on to the paint protection step. So with that said, we have a lot of tint to do. The prep is now complete, so we're gonna get this out of the prep bay, move it over to the other side of the shop, and link up with our 2 tinters. Casey and Zach are going to be handling all the tint on this Tesla. So now we're upstairs in the loft cutting out some tint for this Tesla. Casey's going to go ahead and use our GraphTech machine, get that plotted out, snip that off, and put it onto the trim table. Once we get it on the trim table, he's just going to trim it out from the pre-designed pattern that our plotter has made for it. I'm just going to cut that out, and then we're going to bring it downstairs, start to install. Here we're just going to do some basic heat shrinking on the rear window. You see the heat gun and the felt card. Slowly get it into place in the rear window, kind of just have it floating where you want before you get squeegeeing out. And then you can see here sitting inside the car, he's squeegeeing it out. After that, we move on to the panoramic sunroof. This is a huge panel. As we said in the prep process, same goes for tint. You want every surface that you're going to be working on to be as clean as possible, so no dirt or debris gets underneath the tint. That would obviously ruin the tint and make for a very bad time. Have to redo it. So here we have some more heat shrinking on the top panoramic group. Casey and Zach are cleaning it and prepping it for installation. They're going to peel back the liner, and then they're going to do what's called a back roll. So they're going to roll up the tint and then unroll it inside of the vehicle so it's easier to install. That's what you see them doing here now. They're going to roll it up, and then they're going to unroll it once they get inside. Now they're inside, and you see they just do the exact reverse process. They're just unrolling it, installing it onto that panoramic roof. Here you just see them, they got it into place, and now they're squeegeeing out all the water and the bubbles that are in there. Get a nice install on the panoramic roof. It was really hard to get a nice angle inside this Tesla, but did my best. And now they got the final touches of just making sure all the edges are down, making sure there's no fingers, and making sure all the water is squeegeed out. So that's going to go ahead and wrap up the entire tint process on this Tesla Model Y. Now we're going to move on to the PPF process with Zach. That's going to bring us back up into the loft using our GraphTech machine. It comes preloaded with a software that has a lot of the newer vehicles pre-cut based on their panels of, so say we're doing this Tesla Model Y, it's cutting out the door for us right now. So it does not need to be hand cut. All the patterns are preloaded into the machine. Now that that's cut, we're going to bring it onto the cut table. We have about an inch border, so just to be able to help us see when we're cutting out these pieces, just because it's white on white. Now that we have it cut out, we bring it downstairs, and we're going to peel back the liner. After we peel back the liner on the paint protection film, we're going to load it up with slip solution, make sure it's nice and slippery, so when we get it on the panel, we can move it around properly. And then you're just going to want to land it in a general area on the paint. All right, so you want to take me through your process of laying this door down here?
Yes. Of course, we're doing a spray squeegee spray to clean the panel first. And then, once we get the liner of the film peeled off, we're laying roughly the actual piece of paint protection film on the panel where it needs to be, roughly. And then the first thing I'm trying to line up is the door handle. Because if that's lined up, then, for example, if I were to line up like the corners first, then the handle might not be lined up where it needs to be. So we're gonna go handles first, then we're gonna tack down the top next, and then just work our way from all the points down below it. So pretty much working our way top down. That way we can ensure that this is lined up well, and then we can ensure that the top edge is lined up well. That way we can just like really focus on making sure the top is not all wobbly, you know?
Yeah,
so like
make sure everything's even.
Yeah, if I did like the side first, it could mess up the alignment for the top. So we're just favoring this, and then second place favor is up here. And as long as these two are lined up, everything else will just fall into place.
You just work your way down?
Yeah,
nice.
Pretty much. But had a couple of adhesive marks. So we're peeling back, just writing it down.
Some slip.
Yeah, slip solution. Doing a couple, noticing that it's a little sticky right here. So I'm gonna peel that up, get more slip in there. We want it as slippery as possible.
Want that film to be floating.
Yeah, flowing. So we're going for flowing. There's a hard tack mark here, so I'm gonna squeegee into the slip solution that way. We don't get any lines there. But next up,
You just move up here.
top corner. So I'm gonna do both top corners first. Get that lined up. Put both top corners first, and then we're gonna line up the rest of the top edge. And the whole time, we're looking to make sure that there's no specks of dust or lint or anything under the film. Okay. And if there is any bubbles that are stuck in tack solution, I'm gonna leave them so that I don't have to squeegee through the tack solution. I'll just pop them with a bubble once the install is completely done. So lining up this top corner. Right. Sealed up from this body line so that if I have to lift, I can lift the film up to the body line and I won't get any lines. It's a technique.
The secret tech.
That's what we're going for.
Body lines are your friend.
Yeah, they really are. Like when you're squeegeeing, like if you can find a body line to stop or end in, like I did one right here too.
Yeah.
Just in case I have to lift this up, I can like lift it up to the body line. And as long as the film stops on the body line, then you won't get any like as many adhesive lines.
Yep.
So I'm gonna go to the center in between the two. And get that lined up where I need roughly, starting at the body line. And when I sprayed the tack solution up here, a little bit of it ran down. So pretty much from this body line up, everything's gonna be tacked in. So now that the center's lined up, this is short, this is more of a longer space. That's kind of even, but that's just how my brain's working. So I thought I'd narrate it.
Yeah, no, anything.
So body line up. Try not to get tack solution in your mouth.
Or eyes.
Or eyes, yeah.
Alcohol in the eyes isn't good.
Stay squinting. Dude, I should just, one day for the memes, dude, I'll come in just wearing like the little kid, like goggles.
Yeah, like the pool goggles. I like that.
Stay squinting, baby. Alright. So this is a different body line, but that's the one I'm aiming for right here. Alright. Usually I like to pull the squeegee, but every now and again, just depending on the body panel, you gotta push it. Pulling's better, pushing it, sometimes you gotta do it. So the whole top edge is sealed right now. So you're not really gonna be able to see it too well on camera probably. I mean, if we look at the other door, the front door.
I definitely can, yeah.
So, let's see. It's a pretty hard tack line. So I'm gonna, you know what, I'm gonna pull that up a decent amount because I don't really like that line that's there. Yeah. We're just gonna realign all that.
Sometimes that's all you need is just a little realignment.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, but
Yeah, if it doesn't look good, you fix it, you know?
yeah.
With PPF, I mean, you gotta be, you know, take that kind of with a grain of salt because you don't want to just be tacking stuff down like crazy and then
Repeeling
it
yeah.
and stuff, because then you'll get lines. But if you know where and how long you have, where you can peel up, you know, a lot of times, you know, I do this a lot, is I'll take, if I know that there's like a spot where I could kind of hide a lift line and then spray tack solution in there. A lot of times you don't even see the line.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's that. Yeah, this is all looking pretty decent now. Seal up this handle again. Oh. Mini squeege for the accuracy. Cool. So next up, looking for this bottom corner here. And I'm gonna put tack across this whole back edge because I know that I'm not gonna use it anymore as an exit for any solutions. So I'm lining up that corner, squeegeeing on this body line first. And I didn't really like how that sat down, so pull it back up a little bit. All tack solution now. Yeah, that looks good. Just squeegeeing that so that it doesn't start getting sticky on me. Getting everything from this body line down. We got this big bubble. Take our hands.
Push that out of there.
Yeah, as much as we can. The more you have the film laying down where it's supposed to be before you start squeegeeing, the better. Because then every tack to flush out all the old slip. And again, I don't really like how this the flare pops out.
Yeah.
It kind of messes up the
The whole flow.
flow, yeah. But or like how well just like that edge sticks down. But once we're done with this panel, or done getting it in place, I'm gonna open the door anyways. But so this is all locked in now. I'm not gonna squeegee out this way anymore. I'm gonna lock down this corner and then use the bottom and the front edge of the door as exits for the slip solution. And I use a pretty decent amount of tack solution because I mix mine very light, so I don't put a lot of alcohol in the tack solution. I used to, but I made the change, so.
Just easier to work with, kind of.
Much easier, you can peel it up more. So, oh, good example. Right here, there's a little speck of debris.
Got it. Go.
Yeah, so that's a little speck of debris. So that's the reason why I mix my tack solution so light with as minimal alcohol as possible. Because now I can lift this back up and it doesn't tack super hard. And then you can see the speck of debris that's in there. It's kind of a hard angle, sure on camera it'd be tough. But I can actually...
Yeah, once you lay it back down, we'll be able to see.
Yeah. And I might need some slip in there. Let me see. There we go. So, I swipe my fingers, it feels smooth. No more it doesn't feel like a piece of sand in there anymore. Which I doubt it's sand, I'm sure it's just dust, but that's what it feels like. But now I can put it back down easily because my tack solution isn't super hot. So line that up. A squeegee from this top body line. Cool, that's lined up great. So now this is in place, all of our corners are in place, all of our edges are where they need to be. Now we can just pretty much squeegee everything out, either from here to here, down, so this whole area, or this whole area out. That's where we can get all the slip solution out from. Press out the bubbles. And I'm starting on the body line, being there. So I always like to go over those as much as possible to make sure we don't get bubbles. Which the bubbles are fine because we can get them out with the needle, you know, after the install. All right, so we got a dry spot there. I could just keep squeegeeing that, but that risks making it worse. So I got 1, 2, 3 right there. So I'll lift that up. Not gonna move the film too much. All right. Now we just redo it.
And get back to it.
Get back to it. That's why we rinse the panel off with rinseless first. That way the film doesn't tack as hard to the, still tacks permanently once you have tack solution on there, but it gives you a little bit more time in between when you tack and when you can peel up. So it kind of just makes the install a little bit more forgiving. Squeegee it down past the body line. Trying to get this body line squeegeed out. Right. I'm gonna take my hands, press out the bubbles. Okay. Okay. Now, what we're gonna do, just to be safe, is we're gonna pop the door open. And we're gonna seal up our edges. So this was all tacked prior, so it's already down pretty well. But like all this stuff right here, the bubbles that are under the film still, you can just keep lifting up the film, and then, you know, you do something on accident and it dries like this, and then it looks terrible. When it's done, you gotta peel the door off and redo it. So
That's why you want to tack the
that's why
edges.
we're gonna tack the edges just to make sure that they're down. Plus it kind of gives you a little more peace of mind. Any like frontward facing edge too, right? Like on like your fenders or like the front of the fender and stuff. Anything that's frontward facing that's gonna have air blowing on it is something that you want to definitely put tack down.
Yeah.
The more stick that and you know adhesion that has, the better. So put this here. But that's about it. Everything else we just need to dry.
Yeah.
Not gonna worry about the bottom. Not gonna worry about the top.
Until final touches, that's about how you lay down a door.
Yeah, that's it, man.
Love to see it.
There's the door. Go around the handle. Get your top corners on. Get your whole top edge on. And just work your way down. Where's the next bottom point? Right here. There's your next bottom point right here. Next bottom point down here. All your corners are lined up pretty much. And you just squeegee everything out. Nice and smooth.
Always got to think about your exits too.
Exits, yeah.
That's one thing that trips me up sometimes.
Yeah. If you seal this one with tack solution, you don't want to start squeegeeing everything out of this way, because just think of it like a roadblock.
Yeah.
You know, the slip solution will hit it and just spread out. You know, spread out. You need to go.
It's got nowhere to go.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right, so that's going to go ahead and do it for our video on the Tesla Model Y. We brought you through the prep process, the tint process, and the entire PPF process. So that's basically start to finish on how we would go about doing this Tesla in our shop here at AutoCorrect Detailing. We hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to drop a like, maybe consider subscribing. We're going to be dropping videos every week, so stay tuned for that. And for now, just enjoy some beautiful B-roll shots of this Tesla Model Y, and we'll see you next time.